Well, welcome to the Beck program tonight. Government programs that make you feel good make things much, much worse. And all is universally true. Government programs make you feel good, but they only make things actually be much, much worse. And let me give you a recent example that's going to make blood. It's universally true. Government programs make you feel good, but they only make things actually be much, much worse. And let me give you a recent example that's going to make blood shoot right out of your eyes. In Minnesota, there is a recent state law that requires a 2% mix of biodiesel in diesel fuel. They say that's going to help save the planet, which makes all of our kids and me smile. It's really going to make you feel good. It's so easy and so effective that they're going to gradually raise the minimum biofuel to 20%. Sounds great, right? I mean, who doesn't love those trees? But let's look at reality here. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported that on Friday, the Bloomington School District had to cancel all of their classes because some of their buses couldn't start. Why couldn't they start? Because apparently, biodiesel blend turns to gel when it gets too cold. Doesn't really work for January in Minnesota, now does it? Even worse, school nurses had to treat some kids for hypothermia after they had to hang out at the bus stop for hours in negative 20-degree weather. Nobody could stop this because the state couldn't come up with a waiver fast enough. They were hanging out at the bus stop either because, the buses were stalled and the heaters wouldn't work without running the engines. The engines wouldn't work, because the engines don't run on gel. Then the geniuses decide that the way to overcome all of this is to let the buses idle all night. That sounds good for the planet. Since they're trying to save the environment, do people actually care about making any good decisions anymore? Or are we just making stuff up that make us feel really warm and cuddly inside? Lawmakers put children's safety at stake. Why? For the children, of course. They don't want to run buses on a politically incorrect fuel that will hurt the tree and the environment. And downright stupidity. Hello, John. How are you?
Hello, Glenn. Good to be here.
Good to see you, sir.
Week. It's nice.
Yeah. Okay. So, John, you're a common sense guy. I've watched you for years. You are the one that always will come on TV and I go, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Tell me where I'm wrong that government programs don't make things much, much worse.
You're not wrong, but it's not common sense. It wasn't common sense for me. I had to watch government fail for 25 years doing consumer reporting before I really saw it, because intuitively the reaction is problem, bring government in, government will make it better. And when we're scared, like we are now about the economy, it's much worse. When we're scared about 9/11, we federalized airport security, we spent millions for body armor for dogs in Ohio, all that overreaction comes from fear and government, bad combination.
Okay, so give me trying to figure things out, and something has been bothering me about this economic crisis, and so if you don't mind, let's just think it out loud together here for a second. Let's just say you're a doctor and you work in an emergency room, and all of a sudden there's hundreds of sick people in your waiting room, and they all have exactly the same symptoms. They have fever, vomiting, collapsing banks. Things are so urgent that you're forced to act fast. Gotta act fast. These patients are all dying. What is the first thing that you would do? First thing you would do is you would try to find something that they all have in common, right? Well, in this crisis, it seems like everybody has jumped to the diagnosis that capitalism is what is so bad, and America is patient zero, and somehow or another, we're the one that infected the entire world. I'd like to point out that we're the one who changed the whole world. I don't believe we're the infection here. Look around the world. I got together with the Heritage Foundation and looked at all of where is this crisis hitting? It's hitting capitalist, socialist, communist, totalitarian governments, all of them, and everything in between. At some point, if you're the doctor again in the emergency room, and you really want to get these people healthy, you got to rule out, okay, well, it's not capitalism. Okay, what is it? You need to stop to ask the question that a doctor would ask in that situation. Okay, everybody, where did you eat? What have you had to eat? All of these countries all have that in common. They have all eaten at the same restaurant, the restaurant of central banking. It is a system that no one is accountable to. No one. The brilliant geniuses that are supposed to be protecting us, that's why central banks are around. We'll stop it. We'll make sure there's no recession, there's no depression. We'll just keep these bubbles from happening. They never at one point, if we were patient zero, at one point in no country did they say, don't follow the United States, don't do that. Never. They've had their hands in all of the food. And that's what's making us sick. Will anyone look at the central banking system? All right, government is taking over in the UK. Is that a big deal? Gold, should we be looking at that? What is going on? Joining me now is Jonathan Honig. He is a portfolio manager at Capitalist Pig. I love that. And Harry Dent, author of the new book, The Great Depression Ahead. Okay, Harry, coming. Jonathan, do you think a depression is coming?
Well, Ken, Glenn, all I know is you don't build a thriving capitalist economy on socialist ideals.
Depression is coming. Jonathan, do you think a depression is coming?
Well, Ken, Glenn, all I know is you don't build a thriving capitalist economy on socialist ideals. As you pointed out, it's never happened at any time in history. And if you look at that heritage index of prosperous countries, yes, all countries have been suffering, all economies have been suffering, but the most prosperous countries...
Join the revolution. Join the campaign for liberty.